Our old relationship with the United States is over. Well, this is a tragedy. It is also the new reality.
The relationship that Canada had with the United States is now over. Is the U.S. still our ally?
The U.S. Absolutely. Look, the U.S. is absolutely our ally. It's our ally in security and defense partnerships. It's our most important security ally. For example, it's still, even with these tariffs, the largest trading partners.
Welcome back to the show. My name's Mark Nixon, and holy crap, the internet is exploding right now. I have a breaking news story, and I can't even believe it. The internet is literally blowing up. Doug Ford has just been busted trying to derail Pierre Poilievre's campaign, and the Liberals are not taking the situation seriously. It's insane. And Mark Carney's press conferences today, I'm going to take a look at it for you. And we just got an inflation report that came out this morning. And what does it mean for the Canadian economy? And I can't do a report without Jagmeet Singh. Let's get into it. And I like to include a theme in all of my shows. And today's theme is Doug Ford has officially joined the Elbows Up team. He says he's a conservative, but today we find out he's actually a liberal. Before we touch on the Doug Ford explosive story, another story surfaced 2 days ago where CBC reported that liberal employees working for the campaign war room planted Trump slogan made popular pins in a conservative conference. They were handing them out at the door, and guess what they did? They did a fatal error. They went to a bar after, and they were bragging about handing out all these pins. And guess who was at the bar? That's right. CBC reporter overheard what was said. You can't make any of this stuff up. Here's what some of the pins look like, but there was reports that there was 8 different styles. The story of Liberal members planting mega pins at the Conservative conference spreaded like wildfire. So I'm sure that Mark Carney visited someone that could help. Maybe the CBC. Check out this clip. He's going directly to CBC. Could help him with this breaking news. And here is what Mark Carney had to say about this entire thing.
Members of the Liberal War Room, so the Central Campaign, distributed Stop the Steal buttons at a Conservative event. Given the anti-democratic implications of this phrase, how much does this event undermine the trust in the way that the Liberals operate? And what have you done in response to these revelations?
Thanks for the question. Look, this is totally unacceptable, to be absolutely clear. And on behalf of my campaign, I was unaware of this behavior, but on behalf of my campaign, I apologize for it unreservedly. Okay. I've made it absolutely clear to my campaign that this behavior or anything approximating it or in that spirit is unacceptable, cannot happen again.
See, I have a question. What if they were never caught? Would he still be saying this? Would he actually come out and say the truth and be honest? This is an honest question. The only reason he came out and did this is because they got caught. And I posted, the Liberals tried to frame conservative as a far-right MAGA using fake pins at their conference. Now they're blaming junior staffers. That's right. It's just junior staffers. They didn't know what they were doing, but someone had to design the pins. Someone had to order the pins, and someone had to approve the plan. And yeah, someone had to pay for them. That's right. And guess what? No one, and I mean no one, got fired. And we don't even know. They were just reassigned. Did they get reassigned with a promotion? We have no idea. Here is CTV on this breaking story.
I think it's absolutely ridiculous and disgusting. This is the sort of thing that if conservative operatives were accused of doing, it would be absolutely egregious. The media would be talking about it nonstop. The Liberal campaign trying to blame junior staff is laughable. There is no way that junior staff are going out in the middle of the election and doing something like this, which is unsanctioned, which is in the middle of downtown Ottawa. So I just find it a bit rich to be blaming junior staff when clearly they were told to go and do this from someone very senior.
Yeah, just so that people know, this event cost $500. So not only did they have to order, design, pay for all these pins, but they would also have to cover a $500 entry fee. Do you really think that junior people could afford this entire thing? I don't think so. And now we actually have CBC that's reporting on the story. It's actually incredible.
Look, the statement we got from the party yesterday was crap in terms of, there are stronger words I would like to use. It spoke around the issue without speaking to the issue. It was all this nonsense, passive voice, and it reminded me of the comms troubles they had when they were at 16% in the polls. So, Lisa, I don't know if they've learned from that near-death experience in terms of addressing an issue clearly. The Liberal leader was better at it today. But, you know, I take Jonathan's point. There's thousands of volunteers across the country, and there's always some meathead who's going to rip down a sign or something like that in a riding. But this is right out of the war room, this sort of thing. And it kind of undermines what Mark Carney's central pitch is to Canadians in this campaign.
Unbelievable.
For sure. And it was very nefarious. I don't think it was innocent at all. I mean, I looked up to see what the other buttons were that were out there. I mean, we've done button competitions in the past, but it's usually mocking people. It's not about actively seeking to draw attention to an issue to make it sound more Trumpy than what they are. So, for example, Lock Justin Up was one of them. Wexit Now. Make Canada Great Again. I mean, what is this crap? They should absolutely be off the campaign. They're lucky they're not getting charged. They should be talked about whether or not they're spreading disinformation by this committee in the House of Commons or by this committee of bureaucrats. I mean, this is absolutely outrageous. And for us to tut it away as, oh, well, you know, kids are being kids. The other part, David, that really bugs me, I'm on a roll now. The other part that really bugs me about this whole thing is the hubris and the arrogance of bragging about it and not giving a damn. Like, do they think they're that far ahead in the polls that it's not that terrible to talk about out loud that they're going to get away with it? So, you know what? Toss the lot of them. Mark's got a big problem if he's letting that rot inside his campaign. And if they're only reassigning them, then it's higher up than we expect.
That's what I'm trying to say. You know what? If they're not firing these people immediately, just take a look at this entire thing, how bad this looks for Mark Carney. He's just going to reassign them. It sounds like they're getting a promotion. This brings me to our breaking story with Doug Ford. He literally is now endorsing Mark Carney and it's not just an endorsement of Mark Carney. He's literally actively trying to sabotage Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives campaign in one of the most important election in Canadian history. And he is actively trying to sabotage the Conservatives. This is absolutely insane. Check out his press conference he did yesterday.
As for Corey, I've said right from day one, he's tough as nails, but he's the best campaign manager in the country. And to be very frank, if Corey was running that campaign, I don't think Mr. Poilievre would be in the position he's in right now. But it's still a lot of time left. We still have debates. At the end of the day, the people will decide which way they want this country to move forward. But sometimes the truth hurts.
Wow. So he's actively trying to say that Pierre Poilievre's not doing a very good campaign. I mean, he's not supportive of conservatives. He's supposed to be a conservative. His true colors are shining bright. And it gets much worse for Doug Ford because today we just found out something additional. The Pleb Reporter just published Doug Ford and his advisor Corey busted sending plants to discredit Pierre's rallies. You have no idea how crazy this story is. Doug Ford is intentionally trying to derail Pierre Poilievre. This move is right out of the Liberal playbook. Check out this photo right here. So at Pierre Poilievre's rally, this sign showed up saying, "Do you believe the polls?" And then people wearing these shirts showed up, and it shows they're all wearing the same shirt. I'm like, who are these people? I don't think conservative voters would actually wear this to a rally. It was just questionable. I didn't understand. Well, the story gets very interesting very quickly. So this is where the story gets very interesting. Doug Ford published this on his Twitter X account recently. I spoke to the Meadowsvale Business Association this morning about our plan to protect Ontario workers and businesses from President Trump's tariffs. Until these tariffs are off the table, Ontario and Canada will not back down. And check this out. The Do Not Believe the Polls initiative appeared to be brand new, only days old on an Instagram account and a brand new website that's under development. Peter McCallion, son of late Mississauga Mayor Hazel McCallion, told Parliament today on Thursday that the movement comes from a Meadowsvale Business Association in Mississauga. Ho! Wow. And two people wearing those shirts appear to be in a picture with Doug Ford, as seen right here. And if you look at the two people on the far right wearing those shirts, it is exactly the same two people that we see right here with Doug Ford. This is explosive new information. As Stacy here reports, the couple pictured in here Do Not Believe the Polls shirts are founder and president of the Meadowsvale Business Association, Shara and Paul Misusi. Holy crap. So now this picture makes perfect sense, doesn't it? I have a video of the Do You Believe the Polls crew that is actively trying to get people to cast votes, and they're filming each other. I'll let you decide if these people are truly conservative.
Tell me.
Don't forget to tag us.
So do you mind telling me again what brings you out here?
We don't believe in the polls.
Okay. So you think the polls for Poilievre are fake, right? Okay. So you think he's going to win this election?
Poilievre should be up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you think he's going to win this election?
Oh yeah, of course.
You think it's going to be like a super majority, they call it?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Look at the people supporting him.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Don't forget to.
Are you convinced there, the person filming? And she doesn't look convinced at all of anything that she is saying. It's just unbelievable. Doug Ford comments yesterday, and now these Do You Believe the Poll shirts linked to Doug Ford. What do you think about Doug Ford? Is he actively trying to sabotage Pierre Poilievre's campaign? And why is he doing this? That's my question. I just don't understand. Now we're on to Mark Carney.
President Trump is trying to fundamentally restructure the international trading system. In the process, he's rupturing the global economy. And that 80-year period when the United States embraced the mantle of global economic leadership, when it forged alliances rooted in trust and mutual respect, and championed the free and open exchange of goods and services and ideas, is over. There is no going back. We, in Canada, we will have to build a new relationship with the United States. And Canada can help redesign the global trading system with like-minded countries.
Like-minded countries. Basically, what he's saying is that we have all the cards here. We don't have any of the cards. We're 1/10 of the size of the United States. We don't call the shots. And join up with like-minded countries like China and EU. Is this something that you want, Canada? It's unbelievable. And the one thing that I want to mention is that in the US, there's a new election every 4 years. That means Donald Trump will be gone out of presidency in under 4 years, only 3.5 basically now. And there's also midterms. So what he's talking about, 80-year relationship is now over. In under 4 years, we're going to have a new leader in the United States. The relationship is far from over. This is, in my opinion, just fear-mongering. And this morning, I saw Mark Carney at a press conference talk about the carbon tax. And you are not going to believe this. I literally spat my coffee out and almost choked on it because he straight up said, and he revealed, that the carbon tax basically did absolutely nothing to lower emissions. And that is after 6 years of consecutively raising the costs on Canadians, making it more expensive to feed your family, to get to work, to heat your home, all for nothing.
If you look at the emissions reductions that come from the consumer carbon tax alone, it's about 6%, of the overall emissions reduction. So it's something, but it's not very much. And so the vast majority of emission reduction work is being done by the large emitters, the large polluters. And what we've done there is tightening the carbon market, creating a new system where they are paying for emission reductions of households, so a positive incentive there, reinforcing investment tax credit and other element approaches to drive that clean energy investment. Remember,
so let me get this straight. The consumer carbon tax actually didn't work at all. And now you're going to put it all on industries because the first one didn't work at all. But I'm sure if you put it on industries, it's going to work perfectly fine. Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? This is absolute insanity. Then we have Mark Carney that reassures Canadians that he knows how to count while saying, every 3 seconds. My confidence in his math levels just dropped to -10.
Now you'll see, you will see our detailed platform. It'll come out in a few days, as I said a moment ago. Look, I've been through all the numbers. I know all the numbers. I know how to count. We'll be in a very good position, spending less, but also investing more as a country to build this economy strong.
I don't know about you, but I feel less confident about his math after that announcement that he knows how to count. Then we have Mark Carney explain that an old promise is actually, in fact, a new promise because he's the one that's saying it. Yeah, got that.
An old promise if I make it. Okay? It's not an old, it's a promise. It is a new promise, and it's different. It's not an old promise if I make it. Okay? It's not an old, it's a promise. It is a
Just trust me, bro. Just trust me. I got this. And who remembers the $15 billion that Doug Ford fought so hard for from our federal government to help Honda? Oh, yeah. Well, it looks like Honda just came out and said that they're potentially moving their operation to the United States, which could potentially cause 4,200 jobs to be lost. This is a breaking story, and I'm sure I'm going to have to report on it again. Let's move on to the inflation report that was just released today. We had a drop in inflation to 2.3% from last month from 2.6%. But yeah, it's not time to celebrate because shelter is up 3.9%. Food is up 3.2%. You know, unless you are living in a car, things are not looking great. So here's the 12-month change chart. And as you can see, the drop is actually largely due to gasoline prices. Price growth slows in 4 major components. Yeah, but take a look at how fast prices are going up with food. And it's because they removed the GST and HST on certain items at the store and also at the restaurants. Here's the price drop in gasoline. So in March, we still had the carbon tax. The prices are coming down, but this is not a great sign. That just means that the global economy is slowing down. There's less demand for oil and gas. And yeah, we're going to have the removal of the carbon tax that's going to show inflation coming down again next month. However, all the other components like food and shelter are still going up. And check out this upward pressure on some of the products due to the GST tax break. So if you take a look, after the tax break came back on, the price of food skyrocketed, and so did alcoholic beverages from stores. And here's a price that shows restaurant prices rebound in the first month without the GST and HST break. But if you actually look at the chart, the level that it increased is much higher now than it was before the HS. It's like it didn't miss a beat. It's just going up and up. So what does this mean? Well, tomorrow we have a Bank of Canada policy rate, and they're going to look at this and say, yeah, it's good that inflation has dropped down. However, if you look at it, it's still going back up. So they're caught in a rock and a hard place. They do have room. They're probably going to drop it 0.25%. However, we're going to have to take a look at what their forward guidance is and what they say between, are we in stagflation right now? It's becoming more and more apparent that's where we're at. And that puts the Bank of Canada in a very difficult position. And you can't have a video without Jagmeet Singh. He comes out and says, you know what? I don't believe the polls. It's not capturing all that wonderful support that he has. He actually believes he's going to be the next Prime Minister of Canada. You can't make any of this stuff up. He started his campaign at Metrotown in an alley near dumpsters and forgot to reverse his bus in time when he started his press conference. Then he was in a basement with 11 people chanting and screaming and having a great time. And now he's probably holding a box of Timbits and he's saying it's time to fight, fight, fight all the way back to the top.
Held tomorrow. There is not a single public opinion poll, major public opinion poll, I should say, that I can find that doesn't show the Liberals making a political comeback at the expense of your New Democrats. Why have you failed to break through?
You know, one of the things we notice is that I don't know if the polls are able to accurately capture our support, because just a couple months ago, the Ontario NDP had their election and folks said that the leader wasn't going to win their seat and that we weren't going to make party status, but we won official opposition. So I think that's one challenge, that our support is very harder to gauge. But I know that...
You got that, Canada? He's saying that it's so hard to gauge his support. I guarantee you, his support is probably near zero, okay? He's polling so low. Nobody's voting for the NDP, and it's because what he did to this country. He ripped up the supply and confidence agreement so many times and taped it back up. No one trusts Jagmeet Singh. And I'm going to finish this report with this ridiculous story. Across Canada in airports, they're selling Canada is not for sale. But get this. And these are the hats that they're selling. And when you look at the tag, it's made in Haiti. And the other one's 100% cotton, made in China. How ironic is that? We're selling, we're not for sale, Canada clothing, but it's not even made in Canada. That's where we are at as a country. Would love to hear from you in the comments section. I'll see you on the next report.